Partner visa, the easy way to become Australian. But did you know that even if you're married to an Australian, you might not be eligible for an Australian partner visa? Yeah, that is possible. And here is something even more surprising that a lot of people do not know. Some people are not married, but they are eligible. Sounds confusing? That's exactly why thousands of couples either apply late or too early for a partner visa. Don't worry, I'm here to help. Hi, I'm Daniel Latifi, a registered migration consultant and a PhD holder from the University of Melbourne. Over the years, I've helped many people find the right visa pathway for Australia. Stay until the end of this video because I'll use 3 simple examples to show you how these pathways work in real life situations. But before we get into this, subscribe, like, and share because on this channel, I don't sell you the immigration dream. I give you the migration reality, honest information, no hype, no false promises. Every week, people ask us questions like, do we have to get married? We have never lived together. Does that mean we cannot apply? How do we actually prove a relationship? These are the questions I get on a regular basis. And probably the biggest question of all, which partner visa is right for us? If you've been asking yourselves these questions, stay with me. In the next few minutes, I'll talk about the biggest misconceptions about Australian partner visas, explain what the Department of Home Affairs is actually looking for, and help you understand which pathway may apply to your situation, not someone else's, your situation. So let's start with the biggest myth. What is it? Does marrying an Australian automatically mean you will get a partner visa? And the answer is, drum rolls, no. Why? I know that's probably not the answer many people expect. A lot of couples believe that once they have a marriage certificate, the difficult part is over. But the Australian migration system does not actually work that way. Your marriage certificate proves that you're legally married. It doesn't automatically prove that your relationship is genuine and ongoing. Yes, that's a tricky part. The word genuine. And that's the part that the Department of Home Affairs wants to understand. Think about it this way. Imagine you're an immigration officer, you have never met this couple, and all you have is a visa application and a folder full of documents. How would you decide whether they're genuinely building a relationship, the couple together, or whether the marriage is only on the paper for visa purposes? Yes. That happens a lot. That is why the department looks much deeper than the marriage certificate itself. They're trying to answer one simple question. Is this a genuine and ongoing relationship or not? And to answer that question, they usually look at 4 different parts of your relationship. Let's go through them one by one. The first thing they look at is your finances. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be rich. It simply means, do you actually share financial responsibilities like a couple? What does it mean? Let me give you an example. Do you have a joint bank account? If yes, that's a good thing. Do you both contribute to household expenses? Do not worry if you're one of those who never pays for anything. This is only one of the factors that they look at. There are other factors too. The next question is your lease or mortgage in both names? Do you have anything that shows that you have something together? Have you bought major items together like a car? These are all examples of pieces of evidence that may help show you're building a life together. Now, here's something that is really important. Some people panic because they don't have a joint bank account. Others worry because every household bill is not in both names. Remember, the department is not working through a checklist. They are just looking at the overall picture. The more your financial life reflects a genuine relationship, the easier it becomes to demonstrate or show that you are sharing your lives together, not just an address. The second thing is to look at your home or your household. In other words, do you actually live like a couple? What does it mean? They may look at pieces of evidence such as documents showing joint responsibility for a pet, children, something else. Or you could write a statement explaining how you share responsibilities around your home. Again, the purpose is not to judge how you divide the housework. They're trying to understand something much simpler. Do you actually share a home and a daily life together? They want to know what you're doing. Because sharing a life is very different from simply saying you are in a relationship. Now, let's move on to the third factor. The third thing they look at is your social life. That's a tricky part. Think about the people around you. Do your friends know you are a couple? Does your family know? Have you traveled together at all? Do people invite you to weddings, birthdays, or family gatherings as a couple? Have you built friendships together? Yeah, that is important. Do you have shared friends together? That is why many applicants include evidence such as photos together, travel records, invitations, shared activity, and statements from friends or relatives who know about the relationship. Now, notice something important. The department is not counting how many photos you have uploaded. What they're asking is, if the relationship is genuine, does it naturally appear in other people's lives as well or not? Because genuine relationships usually become part of a wider social circle. Now, let's move on to the fourth factor, the nature of your commitment. This mostly deals with the future. Because commitment isn't something you can show with just one piece of document. It's reflected in the way you live your lives. For example, do you stay in touch when you're apart? Have you made plans for your future together? Do you know what you're doing in the future? When do you want to have kids? When do you want to buy a house together? And how do you want to do it? You gotta have a clear plan for the future. Not very clear, but you gotta have an idea. Have you combined important parts of your lives together where you would like to live, for example, in a couple of years? Do you know the answer to those questions? Have you ever thought about it? Some people even include documents like their wills to show long-term commitment to one another. Again, the department is trying to answer a simple question to see if the relationship is genuine. Does this relationship genuinely look like two people planning their lives together or not? Now, is that all you need? Not quite. There is another thing that is incredibly important, your relationship statement. The department asks you to explain your relationship in your own words. For example, how did you first meet? How did your relationship develop? When did you start living together? Were there periods where you lived apart? What important moments have you shared together? How do you feel about each other? You got to talk about it. And what are your future plans, as I said, for the future? Notice something. They're not asking you to write a romantic love story. No, they're asking you to explain the journey of your relationship in a clear and honest way, because every genuine relationship has what? A story. Now, let me tell you something interesting. Many people think when you're not married, so they cannot apply for a partner visa. This is not true at all. Australian partner visas are available not only to married couples, but also to many couples in what is called a de facto relationship. Couples who are in a de facto relationship, they are considered partners. Now, that's a legal term. In simple English, it refers to a couple who have been together in a genuine relationship for at least 12 months. But remember, dating someone, having a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or talking online for several years doesn't automatically mean you are in a de facto relationship for migration purposes. You need to prove all the aspects that I talked about. For many people, a de facto relationship usually needs to have existed for at least 12 months before the application is submitted. However, here's the good news. There are situations where the 12-month requirement may not apply. When? For example, if your relationship has been officially registered with an Australian state or territory, you can submit the visa earlier. Remember, it is not getting married, it's just registering your relationship. That's good, right? There is another scenario as well. If compelling and compassionate circumstances exist, what does it mean? It means the Australian partner really, really needs you to be with them. Why? For example, for an illness. That is why I always tell people, do not trust what you hear on social media. Now, your situation may be completely different and you gotta be aware of it. Here, I would like to talk about 3 mistakes that a lot of people make. Number 1, assuming that marriage is enough. As discussed before, it is important, but you still need to demonstrate that your relationship is genuine as per what I discussed, the 4 factors. Mistake number 2, they rely on advice from friends or social media. We hear comments all the time, comments like, oh, my cousin got approved like this. My friend only uploaded photos and they got approved. Someone in a Facebook group said blah, blah, blah. That is the problem. Their circumstances may be completely different from yours, different immigration history, different relationship, different evidence. What worked for someone else may not work for you. And finally, getting to mistake number 3 is waiting too long. You might be eligible now, but you might wait for another year to apply because you think you're not eligible yet. And that is exactly why getting professional advice before you apply can save you a lot of time, money, and unnecessary stress. So folks, that's it. If you have any questions, comment below and reach out to us through social media channels that we have. Partner visa applications depend on your relationship, your location, and your immigration history, and your sponsored circumstances, of course. If you need personalized professional advice based on your exact situation, you can book a consultation using the link in the description. Before I let you go, folks, subscribe, like, and share. Why? Because on this channel, I don't sell you migration dreams. I honestly tell you the migration reality, no hype, no false promises. See you in the next videos.